What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and today we are going to be taking a look at a Celestial Tiger game that is actually from the previous patch, but we are going to make use of some mechanics that are still just as relevant on the current patch, and I think this winds up being a pretty sweet game as well. So we'll lock the Forbidden Fruit in that first shop, so that way we can purchase 2 units on this turn, and I don't really want 3 blind mice because we are playing Celestial Tiger, so I want tier 2 and tier 3 treasures, and Wizard's Familiar isn't that strong. We're only picking up a 1/1 and a 2/2 while also taking 2 damage, so that part isn't the best. We're probably going to take some more damage from the Mad Catter because Mad Catter can be pretty strong at this point in the game, but we do get to pick up a pair. So that part of it is nice because I do really like those tier 2 treasures on Celestial Tiger. A lot of times my Celestial Tiger games wind up, I really try to make use of treasure map and finding a tier 7 treasure in that way, and we're going to be doing something a little bit different in this game, but it is still a lot of fun. And in this shop, it's pretty straightforward. We'll pick up the Sherwood Sure Shot and the Frog Prince, and that gives us a pretty reasonable amount of stats here to make up for those Wizard's Familiars and that damage that we took a little bit earlier on. And yeah, I think we're doing good. My opponent does have an egg, so that could get a little bit spicy. But we've got a Sherwood Sure Shot. I was going to say if that could attack, I guess it didn't matter actually. Either way, we wind up trading. If they attacked into the Wizard's Familiar there, we actually didn't take any damage. So we had some chances to tie that combat and even win, 10% chance to win. But we were most likely to lose. Now we have to take a look at the shop. I mean, we could purchase one thing and roll twice. So I'm not super inclined to care about this shop. I would much rather just roll and try to find 2 2-drops that we could pick up. And I wind up finding 2 questing units, which I probably do want to make some use of. And I'm realizing that if I cast this Falling Stars, which pumps up my Wizard's Familiars and takes down Cindy, it's going to kill my Sherwood Sure Shot, so I might as well sell Sherwood Sure Shot just to be able to cast this spell and pick up both of these units that I want to pick up, because they are a pretty reasonable way to gain some treasures. Definite possibility that you could have gone Mad Mim plus Mummy there, or at least lock those 2 units, but I decided against that, and unfortunately we are going to take a ton of damage here from some eggs, so we're down to 26, and things get a little bit dicey. We also do not slay with the Brave Princess, so both of those things are a little bit unfortunate, but hopefully we can find some more ways to power up our board soon, and there's some options here. There's a healing potion to tick down Cindy. There's also a crafty, which is a 4/4, and then there's obviously this pair of 3-drop good witches. The awkward thing about these good witches is there is not they're only going to be single supporting. One of them's only going to be single supporting, so we are losing some value there, but a pair is a pair when you are playing Celestial Tiger, so I do think that I want to pick those up, and now we really don't have too much use for the crafty. Could lock for the potion of healing. If I was going to do that, though, probably wanted to cycle the chicken, but I think we'll decline to do so and just try to get an additional copy of this Good Witch. That would be another way to definitely get ahead on this board. So that is the plan. Brave Princess, again, going to be unable to slay, so a little bit unfortunate there. And this donkey's also going to do some damage against us, unfortunately. My opponent getting a bunch of slays, though, so good for them, but we are going to take 5 damage down to 21. Generally, I've talked about this a lot, but I wind up stabilizing at about 17 health with Celestial Tiger. And here we go at 21 health. We are actually going to gain our first treasure, so not the worst place in the world to be. A double Shepherd Sling also gives a considerable amount of power to our board, and I think we need it. Not only does it give a little bit of power, but it also helps our questing princess slay, our brave princess. So that is pretty reasonable. We can see Dancing Sword in the shop as well, but there's no way that I would pick up even the new Dancing Sword here, giving our units +2/+2. I do think it is worth locking for the Genie's Wish, though the other option could be to sell one of my Wizard's Familiars, probably, though they are going to give the Wizard's Familiars +2/+2. Could also consider selling the Unicorn, though that's just so good for us right now while we have all of these good units. So probably want to hang on to that as well. Up against Beauty, and they are also going to have a bunch of good units, but we'll see, is the +2/+2 from the staff enough to, or the Shepherd Sling, enough to get us this win. Stag attacking is never good, but honestly our front line is looking pretty big. They do have a pretty good back line, though, as well, with that Queen of Hearts. This was a close one. We get their Queen of Hearts down to 1 HP, so if some of that battle RNG went a little bit better for us, okay, maybe there's something off with the tracker in this video, because the tracker says we were 100% to win, and obviously we lost. So maybe we found the 0.0001% to lose, or maybe something just went wrong there with the tracker. But we're going to roll a little bit on 4.0, and then we are going to find 2 upgrades. So sweet stuff. We can grab one this turn and lock the other one for the next turn. So I'm just going to cycle the Fanny just to clear a little bit of room in the shop. And here we see the options are Rune Stones, Hermes Boots, and Crown of Atlas. One of the reasons I don't like Rune Stones typically on Celestial Tiger is because it just denies you the chance of getting a tier 3 treasure and doesn't actually help you typically in getting a tier 7 treasure, because then it means that the next treasure that you find can't be treasure map, or then we'd be getting a tier 4 treasure from this Wizard's Familiar combination next turn, and that's just ultimately going to be a lot less exciting than some of the tier 2 treasures that we can take. So I take the Hermes Boots, which is pretty decent with Brave Princess, and is going to potentially allow Brave Princess to slay. We've got double attack priority. So honestly, there are some definite uses for the Hermes Boots pickup. And looking pretty strong with all of these good witches and the shepherd slings and stuff, so not too shabby. Going to walk out of this one with a win, plus we kidnapped, and then we also got a slay on the Brave Princess. So pretty sweet combat for us as well. We got a friendly spirit from the kidnap, and now on this one, I am going to take a Noble Steed. Locked Chest is obviously really, really sweet on Celestial Tiger, but Noble Steed doubled up. There is a lot of stuff that we can potentially do with that. Even though it does have a lot of similar things to it, like I was just talking about with the Runestones, in that it's going to make the Brave give us a 5, which we can't double, and the Questing give us a 4, which comes out undoubled. The big difference is that we get to use it multiple times. So not only do we get to use it on these units, but we'll also get to use it on future units like Lancelot and Nutcracker, and potentially even Hercules down the line. Then I do find a treasure map, so going to be tossing the Shepherd's Sling, and then we find one more spell that we can use on the Cinderella, and if you do the math, Cinderella is getting, so it's a tier 2 treasure, and then it's getting +1 from the Noble Steed, plus an additional 1 from the Noble Steed, +2 from the treasure map, plus an additional 2 from the treasure map. So we get a tier 8 treasure, aka a tier 7 treasure. and we're not going to have too much time to pick one. We see Mirror and Excalibur, and I feel like Excalibur this early in the game is still going to be pretty good for us. And we're still going to be able to get treasures off Excalibur because we've got questing units available, and those questing units are going to be quite good for us still, in that they are going to give us treasures 2 tiers above what they would normally be able to offer. So I'm going to sell the Friendly Spirit because it's our only unupgraded unit. And then I see this Fairy Godmother, and this is really good in terms of allowing us to potentially activate Nutcracker, and also Lancelot, because it can just give a ton of extra stats to both of those units. So that's kind of the plan here. Use the Fairy Godmother with all of these good things to gain a bunch of health on our different questing units and potentially grab a treasure from them in that way. Do debate a little bit on the ordering, but I think I eventually decide to just put Nutcracker into this supported slot. And 30 health is pretty high, and maybe some of these other things around it can die to give it some additional health at the start of the combat. And I think it's better to just have it in the front line too, because that means that it'll just get hit more often. Hopefully it doesn't get scammed by Medusa. Okay, it doesn't. Nice. It does mean that the Medusa getting scammed does mean that the Nutcracker has slightly less health, but this combat RNG works out really, really well for us, and we actually get the Nutcracker on our first go here. So we're going to be getting a tier 6 treasure now going into 5.0, plus we've got Excalibur, so a fully upgraded shop. So we'll probably replace the boots, the Hermes boots, and Spear of Achilles is pretty good with exactly what we're looking for, and you can see right behind it in the shop is the Lancelot. I was going to say that we are going to want to look for a Lancelot, but it is already here, and Lancelot also triggers with Spear, so that's pretty good too. It means that we won't have to do anything else to get this Lancelot online. The one thing that's awkward is Spear does work well with Lance. Actually, we already have Lance active with the Good Witch, and we can make it additionally active with the Burning Palm. I think I didn't realize that its health was already above 28, but it would have been nice to both have the Spear and the boots, but I think it's going to be nicer to hang on to the questing treasure, and now we can potentially grab another treasure off of the sorry, I was getting distracted by what's happening in the shop right here, because I do like this play as well. Potentially grab another tier 7 treasure off Hercules. But what I wind up doing on this turn is grabbing a Baba Yaga, which still allows us to support the Lance and get it above 25. So we are going to grab a tier 7 treasure from this next turn, and we are also going to have the ability to really start to scale this Lance in a really nice way. So that is kind of the plan here, and it looks like with this Spear, we are going to be in pretty good sorts right now. I did lock the Chupacabra in the shop. I was debating that, going back and forth a lot, and I'm not sure if it was necessary, but we'll see what we are able to make do with it. My opponent's got a really nice board with Ring of Rage plus Eye of Ares and Double Peep, but we are able to take them down. So we're going to get a tier 7 treasure, and basically this tier 7 treasure is going to dictate a lot of our direction this game, because we could potentially still play Slay, though Slay doesn't really necessarily work with tier 7 treasures. So that is probably not the route that I want to go to. I think that Mirror is going to work the best with the other treasures that we have, because Mirror plus Spear of Achilles are both really, really good with Court Wizard strategies. So that's the idea that I am coming up with now. Juliet, certainly interesting. Romeo, also interesting when you consider the fact that Juliet is available, but I think I want to try to find either XP or court wizards right now, and those are the main things that I want to try to pick up. So we're going to do some rolling, and there's some XP. There's also a monster book. I could buy the monster book and then put the XP on it, or I could just buy the XP and then purchase the monster book. That also works well. And monster book is also something that is pretty good with the mirror, and that's what I was also considering. But then I thought about more the comp that I want to build. And I think the comp that I want to build is ultimately going to want Sure Shot more than it wants Monster Book. So kind of an interesting play there. Obviously, Monster Book would have been a lot more powerful for us this turn compared to Sherwood Sure Shot, but Sherwood Sure Shot is better for where we're going, and now I don't have to worry about spending gold to try to pick up a Sherwood Sure Shot. Next turn, when we're level 6, I can just look for Good Boys and also potentially some Court Wizards, but Good Boy is the main thing on the menu. Might pick up some Bear Stains too. Okay, I will pick up the Court Wizard because we find it so easily here, and then I will move the Baba Yaga over. I want to put this Shorewood Sure Shot in too, and I guess I'll just cut the Wizard's Familiar. Wizard's Familiar was good for us. It found us the questing treasure, actually, that made all of this possible. So, still pretty sweet. You do see I am going to roll past that Sherwood Sure Shot there, and Evil Twin on Lancelot is a cute kind of strategy, but it's not the one that we are going to go for in this video. We do see an Echo Wood as well, which definitely has some consideration to it, but I think my gold is best spent right now just rolling and trying to find that upgraded Good Boy before the rest of the lobby can catch up with us. And I think that that's going to be pretty powerful, though Hugify on Court Wizard, that could certainly be worth it. I am going to decide, though, to just keep rolling for Good Boy. We also see Copycat, which upgraded Copycat Good Boy. Definitely a game plan, but we're rolling, and we're not going to find anything this turn. But we did pick up a Court Wizard, so it's not nothing. And that Court Wizard even does add a nice little amount of stats to our board, so it is not for nothing. And one other thing that I haven't talked about too much is there is the possibility that we could get additional treasures with the fact that we've got this mirror respawning our questing units. In actuality, it doesn't wind up being super likely to happen, though it is more likely considering we've got the spear, which you can see made the Nutcracker able to attack and survive. If we also threw a Good Boy in this mix, then we'd potentially be able to get some treasures that way. We send Morg down to 2 health, so they get to pick up a treasure, and definitely don't need Knighthood, just need some Good Boys. So let's roll and see if we can't find any Good Boys this turn. A Friendly Spirit is kind of cute, but I'm in it for the boys only right now. Though, It Was All a Dream seems good, and Mordred also seems good, but Pied Piper seems even better. So I want to pause here for a second, some more stuff to talk about. We're no longer doubling any of these treasures with Celestial Tiger, so it does make a lot of sense to dream. And the first thing that I see and consider is Mordred, and the reason for that is, and we discussed this on my stream recently, I believe the game in question that references what I'm about to talk about has already gone live, but I believe at the time of playing this game, I thought Mordred worked with Mirror. Or maybe it was right after, and that's why I don't take Mordred. But either way, we are looking for Good Boys. So Pied Piper putting an extra animal in our shop is going to be really good. I will take Bear Stain too, but I want to find the Good Boy first. So now we can potentially roll into upgraded Good Boys, which is actually a really good hero power, and we don't actually find it because of our hero power, but we do find an upgraded Good Boy nonetheless. So that is going to be a pretty large power spike for us next turn. I think I'm just considering the fact that I could, against the Ghost, sell 2 things and purchase this Polywoggle, but I'm just going to save my other units and save my Econ and next turn slot this good boy into this comp, and that will be looking pretty good for us. So that is the plan. And while I don't wind up getting the good boy off the Pied Piper, I think it is a very, very good hero for us right now, and potentially something that could have just been missed out by a lot of players, I think. So we're going to get our Baba Yaga and our good mother sniped, but we still have this court wizard in the back, so that is going to be pretty good for us and allow us to grow that unit. Also, we're playing up against the ghost, so it shouldn't matter what else happens in this combat here, but of course it always could. So we're going to take down the lance, and the rest of this battle should be pretty straightforward. We might even be able to get another sleigh with lance. That's really our only scaling. That is the one downside of this comp right now. Yeah, lance doesn't get another attack. We don't really have any scaling. We just have to like cast some spells on good boy potentially, because we are not getting any other stats that are just increasing our board each turn. So what I'm actually looking for now is Bear Stain. Bear Stain would add a bunch of stats to the board. It is weird because it's not going to like continually grow our board, but it will make us certainly a lot more powerful this turn. We're out of gold for this turn though now, but I would also not mind just casting like a small spell like a Sugar and Spice or a Magic Research on the good boy. Maybe I go for this Genie's Wish. It seems like it could be fine. Okay, we get an Earthquake, not a huge deal. And we'll see now. This is basically the full comp though. Unless we find a Bear Stain, which we could definitely find with Pied Piper, this is basically the full build. Dragon's going to get in there, and it's going to take out Godmother, but also make Court Wizard attack, and then the good boy gets to get in there, and you can see just how big that good boy gets. Getting everything up into about the 100s, and makes it pretty tough to lose. This does mean, let's see, this is 15, this is 18 damage, so we won't be able to kill Horde Dragon here, assuming that they don't take out anything else, and it's a big assumption with a pumpkin on the horizon. But Rotten Applewood has to attack, and then we get to attack and clear the Medusa, so honestly, the combat RNG went really, really well for us, and we do get to hit them for the full 18, but unfortunately, the dragon cleared our other backline units, which means that we don't get a kill. Now I am rolling for Bear Stain and then additional good boys. And then also golden chickens. Those are reasonable. And I might cast that spell. Okay, I don't wind up doing it. I don't think it's horrible to do so. But a Court Wizard is also a pretty large pickup. And it's decent. I could potentially pick up another Sherwood Sure Shot too. That would be better than this 820 Nutcracker. And Soltak Ancient. It also definitely has some considerations for it, but not going to pick up any of those things. Let's just roll. We will find some good boys, hopefully, eventually. I'll cast this free roll, and then we actually find Bear Stain. So one interesting thing, too, is just in general, Pied Piper plus Excalibur is kind of a combo because you find those golden chickens and you get a little bit more cash. And we thought this turn was basically over, but then we rolled into a golden chicken plus a free roll, which gave us enough time to pick up an upgraded Bear Stain this turn, and that is obviously quite good. So, yeah, Pied Piper plus Excalibur, kind of a nice little hidden combo for you that is pretty sweet. Up against Beauty, and we are going to attack with Good Boy, and importantly, we don't attack into the Rotten Apple Tree because now we get to pass all of those stats on to our next Good Boy, and then we are looking pretty good. The Rotten Apple Tree winds up attacking as well and flipping over the Nutcracker. And this is kind of what I was talking about, how you could potentially get some additional treasures if our Good Boy died now and then gave that bonus to the Nutcracker and then we were then able to get some like Sark triggers onto the Nutcracker, it definitely could have happened that we were able to some interesting stuff going on in this combat. I forgot how crazy this one gets. We could have gotten another tier 4 treasure. Not that I really need another treasure on this board, but maybe I would have taken Coin of Sharon instead of Excalibur. Anyways, kind of talking it over here, but my opponent's Siren stole my good boy, which gave them a ton of stats and actually allowed them to win. So a pretty huge upset there. Again, you can see the tracker showing that we were 100% to win that combat. Maybe we were, though. They grabbed a pumpkin off of they grabbed a Siren off of their pumpkin and then were able to steal like our best unit from us. So pretty just crazy circumstances that all of that happened. Now I will go for a Gigantify on the good boy because I do feel like we are basically at the pinnacle of what I want to do with my units here. I would potentially put in, like I said, another Sherwood Sure Shot, another Good Boy, potentially even another Bear Stain could be good, but this is basically the full build. So it's just a question now of whether this Beauty or this Horde Dragon, both of which just barely escaped our grasps, which one is going to be able to put together the better comp now and get to face us in the finals, because we're playing up against the Ghost. So not super stressed about this one, but we'll probably be able to add some nice stats to our board on the last turn as well. Just play whatever spell we can pick up and see what we can make do with that. My opponent's Medusa does take out Lancelot, so that does take out a decent amount of our stats, but my opponent doesn't have a backline, nor do they really have a super impressive front line either, so this is going to be an easy win against the Ghost, and then we will be moving on to the finals. And, I think I would bet on Beauty, but saying that, I don't really remember what treasures the Horde Dragon has. So it is going to be Horde Dragon as our finals opponent. Oh, and their treasures are the Singing Sword and then the Round Table, which is a nice little combo. But they probably used their dragon and killed their opponent's pumpkin, and were able to scam in that way. An interesting choice here to pick up Echo Wood. I just don't really think we need it. We could play it over the Nutcracker in the front line, but I think that we are better off just trying to roll and find another good boy. And Evil Twin doesn't really cut it as far as being another good boy. I want a real boy, and I think that with Pied Piper, I felt like we were decently in a position to find one, but the fact that this is the last turn of the game, I am strongly considering just dreamin', because there are potentially some heroes that we could get into that would make our board a little bit better. The one thing that I'm just considering here is, do I want Fairy Godmother or do I want Nutcracker? And then we get to dream into Grandmother. So, which is actually the Big Bad Wolf. Giving Good Boy an additional +5/+5 is better than most other spells we could have cast this turn, so honestly a pretty nice dream. But there were other good ones too, but this is definitely among them. Doom Breath is going to get in, kill the Good Boy, and kill one of my Court Wizards, which is a little bit annoying, but we are going to have quite a big board after that. But this is going to be a close one. But we do have a 100 attack Court Wizard, so hopefully that can buy us some stuff here, but honestly, this battle is looking close. I wouldn't be surprised if I lose this one, especially because Medusa is going to take out a Court Wizard attack, and then Nutcracker is going to get in. So I'm all out of Court Wizard attacks, but it's just going to come down to what is inside this pumpkin for my opponent. And the answer is not much. They just get a pair of Baba Yagas. Medusa is going to attack in, and that takes out our Court Wizard. And you can see this game is down to a 50-50 at the very end. The Bear Stain attacked into the Medusa, though, and that allows us to kill our opponent. So Super close game, super close combat. You can see we were actually supposed to lose that one, at least according to the tracker. Sometimes that is a little bit buggy, but honestly, I thought this was a really sweet game, showing off this Court Wizard comp with basically the perfect treasures for it, and we were able to find these perfect treasures because of that early noble steed that we got, or maybe it wasn't super early, it was like our 4th treasure or something, but still a really sweet game, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching that. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.